Right now on News 3 this morning, Sunday, a light show overnight in much of our viewing area, but it wasn't fireworks. Severe weather sending power lines and trees toppling across southern Wisconsin. Plus, some good news for drivers hitting the road this Independence Day. The construction project's hitting pause to accommodate the millions of holiday travelers. And celebrating safely what is and isn't legal as you ring in the 4th with a bang here in Wisconsin. Your news starts right now.
This is News 3 This Morning, Sunday.
And good morning, and thanks for joining us for News 3 This Morning, Sunday. It is July 1st, July already. I'm Josh Sprider with meteorologist Chris Reese. Right now, people across southern Wisconsin are waking up to widespread damage from a strong line of storms overnight. These pictures sent to us from News 3 viewers of the damage. Storms brought 60-mile-an-hour wind gusts, small hail, heavy rain, and lots of lightning. This morning, we're receiving numerous reports of downed trees and power lines in Vernon, Juneau, Richland, Sauk, Columbia, Green, Lake, and Dane counties. The excessive heat and humidity provided plenty of fuel for the storms to fire up. Heat indices were as high as 118 degrees across parts of southern Wisconsin on Saturday. And Chris, you've been closely monitoring these storms, and it stayed pretty active all night.
That's right, it sure did. On my drive into the station this morning, the sky was just absolutely lit up with all of that lightning out there. Now not as much lightning, with the clouds beginning to linger there behind the Capitol. In fact, over the past 30 minutes, I've watched a storm cloud literally roll behind the horizon on Capitol Square there. So we're going to continue to track some of the thunderstorm activity as we go through the day. A lot of that has since fallen apart, but there will be more storms that begin to develop as we get you into the afternoon and evening. The big region of low pressure still over southern Minnesota right now, and that cold front has yet to actually swing through the area, although temperatures will feel about 20 degrees cooler today. 69 degrees, the actual air temperature right now at this moment. But here's the heat index as we go throughout the day. It'll feel like 94 as opposed to 104, 118 like yesterday. So drastically cooler today compared to yesterday. In fact, all of those excessive heat warnings gone, except for the extreme southeastern corner of Wisconsin, including the city of Milwaukee there. But even that will expire as we go throughout the rest of the day. A slight risk east of Madison for the showers and thunderstorms that are expected later on this afternoon and evening. So once again, we'll be keeping a very close eye on those showers and thunderstorms as they work their way on through later on this afternoon. As far as traffic, so far, things do look good across much of the area today. I guess for some reason the traffic does not want to show up. This MAX system, there we go.
It is.
The MAX system's been having some problems this morning. You've got a little bit of slowdown between Sauk City and Middleton, but even still, if you check on camera, it's just some routine maintenance, no major issues showing up.
Computer's sick of the heat as well, I think.
The computer is sick of the heat, and I'm still tinkering with that computer back there to get it ready.
Well, let's hope it'll get going.
All right,
Chris, thank you. New this morning, a 33-year-old father is waking up in the Rock County Jail. James Grunert was pulled over for speeding down East Highway 1114 by Henke Road Saturday. He told authorities he was on his way back from the Dells. Deputies say his car reeked of burning marijuana, and Grunert admitted he had been smoking on his drive home. He had 2 kids under the age of 16 in the car with him, making the offense a felony in Wisconsin. This is the 4th time Grunert has been pulled over for an OWI. He'll stay in jail until his initial court appearance. Also new this morning, right now Madison police are looking for a man wanted for robbing the Capitol Petro Mart. It happened shortly after 1 o'clock this morning. Police say a heavy-set black male around 6 feet tall walked into the mart with a silver handgun and demanded cash. He was given an undisclosed amount of money and ran away. Anyone with information is asked to call Madison Area Crime Stoppers or the Madison Police Department. A first alert traffic note for people who live or work on Madison's east side ahead of Monday morning's commute. The Lake Edge Boulevard reconstruction project starts tomorrow. That's right off Monona Drive and south of Cottage Grove Road. Crews will be replacing the road and putting in new sewers and water mains on Lake Edge Boulevard, as well as Hegg, Major, and Drexel avenues. If your commute takes you through that part of town, you'll need to find a new route for the next 4 months. Right now, some good news for drivers planning a 4th of July road trip this week. The DOT is putting the Verona Road construction on hold to help ease that holiday congestion. Crews will stop working by noon this Tuesday, then start up again by 6 a.m. Thursday. The DOT says there are more construction projects across the state taking a break to make sure people get to their holiday destination safely. For up to the moment traffic information ahead of your trip, plus accurate 12-hour and 10-day forecasts on the go, be sure to download our Channel 3000 First Alert weather and traffic app and be the first to know. 6:35 right now. The Monona Terrace is closing down this week for some building maintenance, but you'll still be able to catch your favorite views of the lake. The building will be closed starting tomorrow through the 5th, but weather permitting, the rooftop will be open every day, and the concerts on the rooftop on July 5th will still be held. Monona Terrace reopens with regular hours this Friday, July 6th. The Milwaukee Brewers are honoring veterans or military veterans this Independence Day, not with fireworks, but with free tickets. They're donating 3,000 tickets to USO Wisconsin so vets and their families can watch the Brew Crew take on the Cardinals. That game is at 3:10 at Miller Park on Wednesday. Tomorrow is the last day to go online and reserve those tickets at their website there on your screen. Veterans can pick up their tickets between 1 and 3 p.m. on game day. If you normally stop by the farmers market on Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard near the Capitol on Wednesdays, mark your calendar. The market will take place Tuesday this week to avoid the 4th of July holiday. It's open from 8:30 to 1:45 and will go back to normal Wednesday on their schedule next week. The Dane County Farmers Market continues every Saturday and Wednesday through early November. There's another way for families to access free meals this summer through the Dane County YMCA. Starting Tuesday, anyone can visit the Lucier Family East YMCA on Cottage Grove Road to pick up brown bag meals. Those usually have a sandwich, fruit, vegetable, and milk. They'll be handed out from 5 to 7 every Tuesday and Thursday throughout the summer. There are no requirements or qualifications for the free meals, so everyone is welcome. Right now, the city of Janesville is taking a creative approach to protect its city sewers. Seize the Grease encourages Janesville residents to pour cooking grease into cans instead of down the drain. The city is handing out lids as part of the Seize the Grease campaign. Janesville officials say grease backup in residential drains has been a problem for years.
You don't want to be the recipient of having the sewer line blocked and having sewage backed up into your basement. So we really try to work with the people so they understand that dumping this stuff down the drain could potentially cause a blockage in their sewer line.
Lids are free and available at the Janesville City Hall. This morning, one person is dead and another is recovering from severe burns following a home explosion in Oneida. That's about 15 miles away from Green Bay. Authorities say around 7:30 Saturday morning, they responded to a report of a house exploding. Investigators believe it was caused by a gas leak. A Madison woman was charged after drinking stolen wine at a Madison Starbucks. Police say the 55-year-old woman allegedly took 2 4-packs of wine from the Hilldale Target Saturday and went to the Starbucks inside the store, sat down, and just cracked into the wine, sipping away. She's being charged with retail theft. Summer can be a challenging time for animal shelters. It's during these months that more and more animals are in need of a place to stay while waiting for permanent homes. The Humane Society of Southern Wisconsin is partnering with Petco to educate the community and share why fostering animals can be so fun.
I love animals, period, and just being a foster parent. It's fun watching them grow up and get acclimated to life and then be able to take them and get them adopted out.
The Humane Society of Southern Wisconsin finds foster homes for more than 1,000 pets each year. Dog owners now have a new place to take their dogs. This weekend marked the grand opening of the Sunnyside Dog Park on Irish Lane near Hilldale Heights Park. Organizers say it's nice to have another option to a safe place to take their pets.
Nice to be able to take a dog in the afternoon on weekdays instead of driving out to one of the Dane County parks that's further away.
The new park has hydration stations, a rain garden, and of course, a place for those waste bags. 6:39 this Sunday morning, we got a little relief from that heat overnight with passing storms, but the temperatures will soon soar once again. A live look over the Capitol this morning. Chris will have your full First Alert forecast next on News 3 This Morning, Sunday.
Good morning. It is another damp one after showers and thunderstorms move through the area overnight. So far, clearing skies are taking over the horizon as round one of those showers and thunderstorms moves on out of here. We'll expect round two to move in later on in the day. Here's a live look at the Edgewater sky camera. The bugs are out. It's because of a lot of the moisture. Plus, you're right by the lake. You're going to get a lot of the bugs. But you see the clouds in the background, of course. That's moving on through here with the showers and thunderstorms that did move through the area overnight. 69 degrees. The temperature, dew points have come down about 10 degrees into the upper 60s now. So it's still very incredibly humid, but it's going to feel somewhat better than it did yesterday. In fact, by this afternoon, it'll likely feel a lot better. Temperatures are in the upper 60s and low 70s across southern Wisconsin this morning, but the heat index will not make it into the triple digits today. How about that? We're looking about 10 to 20 degrees cooler when it comes to those heat indices as we get you into the peak heating of the afternoon, likely feeling like about 92 degrees. In fact, all of the excessive heat warnings and the heat advisories have pretty much been allowed to expire. You do have a few lingering excessive heat warnings in the southeastern state part of the state. That includes the city of Milwaukee, but that will be expiring as we get you into this afternoon as well. Still some showers and thunderstorms to our east. Notice how a lot of that has really fallen apart over the past 3 hours or so, but the main regional low pressure is still over southern Minnesota, and the main cold front will be coming through this afternoon and evening, and it'll have a bit more fuel to work with, and that's why I do believe we will see at least some showers and thunderstorms. The heaviest rain over the past 24 hours has really been across that southwestern area of Madison and moving to the north and east. You see how a lot of the heavy rain began to die off, and that was the case with the showers and thunderstorms last night, but the heaviest of the severe weather should be mainly east of Madison today, or shall I say the worst of the severe weather. It's really a slight risk. It's not going to be a big deal. In fact, we're talking isolated showers and thunderstorms that reach severe criteria as this cold front works on through here. But check out what happens after that. Temperatures potentially dropping into the 50s overnight. That could be just a little bit too cool, but it'll be a whole lot cooler than we've seen for overnight lows lately. 84 degrees will be the high into this afternoon as opposed to the 94 of yesterday. The thing is, we toast right back on up after this. 84 today, an alert day for the potential for some of those strong storms. Back up through the 90s by 4th of July.
80s are going to sound pretty good after those 90s, Chris.
You know, I'll tell you what, oddly enough, it feels very good out here, Josh.
That's good to hear.
Yes.
All right, Chris, thank you.
My pleasure.
Time now is 6:45 this Sunday morning. Suicide is on the rise in the U.S., giving new urgency to suicide prevention. Gail King of CBS This Morning speaks with 5 people who know that best. They're suicide attempt survivors themselves. They share their stories and insight when News 3 This Morning Sunday continues.
Most of those excessive heat warnings have come to an end today, with the exception of the greater Milwaukee area. It's going to be a whole lot cooler in terms of those heat indices. Instead of seeing heat indices well above 100, we will likely not feel like 100 today, but instead the low 90s at the greatest heating. Temperatures this morning rise from the 70s to about 80 degrees. By lunchtime, 84. Your high this afternoon, with another round of a few scattered showers and thunderstorms developing back into the picture. Over the next 10 days, we do toast things right back up with the heat and humidity. 90s expected by the time we get you towards the 4th of July. Josh.
All right, thanks, Chris. Time now, 6:49. Right now, the suicide rate in the U.S. is on the rise, and the recent deaths of Kate Spade and Anthony Bourdain have many people wondering why two successful people would take their own lives. CBS This Morning's Gail King sat down with 5 people who could provide some insight. Each of them is a suicide attempt survivor. They share important advice and a message of hope.
I'm very touched that you would share your story. You should know that we're all here because we do want to learn how to be better and do better. But what is it that we don't understand?
People with mental illness are not monsters. I live with bipolar illness. I have for most of my life. I've lost my birth mom to suicide. My grandmother to suicide. I'm a 3-time attempt survivor. Suicide's not a disease. Suicide is an event, like anything else.
If you've tried 3 times, how do people close to you know he's okay now?
They don't.
They don't.
They don't. My own family doesn't trust me to this day.
What so many people are wrestling with when people make the decision to take their own lives is how could they do that to their children? How could they leave their children behind? Is that the wrong question for us to ask?
Absolutely. I was seeing how my life had spun out of control, and I didn't know how to reach out. And so when I saw that I just was hitting bottom, and I thought of the burden I was going to become to my kids, that's when it was rational to me that they would be much better off without me.
So in your mind, you weren't leaving them, you were actually thinking you were a burden to them and that they would be better off
They
without
would
you
be
as
in
their
a
mother.
better situation.
It's okay to not be okay. I had spent a year in Iraq from ages 18 to 19. My job involved photographing of mass graves. And it haunted me in ways that I couldn't understand, and I didn't have the vocabulary to describe. I had lost purpose in my life. I had lost control of everything. Attempting suicide was an expression of control over my own destiny.
We all go through something that's very jarring to us. What's the difference between someone who just powers through and someone else that just says, I can't take it anymore? Is there an answer to that, Desiree?
I think we all have a different capacity for pain and our ability to withstand it.
Before I came, I was talking to experts and they said you should not ask how they attempted suicide. And I said, why is that an impolite or inappropriate question?
It's been proven to be unsafe.
It triggers people.
Yeah.
We know that Robin Williams' death was covered.
Yes.
We knew exactly how he did it, where he did it, what he did it with.
Yep.
And Kate Spade did it the same way, and then we described it again, and then we had Anthony Bourdain.
Sometimes we're thinking, well, I don't want to talk about it, because if I ask her how she's doing or ask him how he's doing, that'll just make him feel really bad. And then I could trigger something. Should we ask you? Should we go and talk to you about it? What should we do?
There's a myth out there that if you ask someone if they're suicidal, that it will trigger a thought of suicide. That's not true. If the thought wasn't there, you're not going to make it there.
You're not planning it if it wasn't
You're not planning it there. And I think what people tend to do because they're afraid is say, you're not thinking about doing something stupid, are you?
Yes.
And then I now know that you think that's stupid, so I'm not going to tell you I might not tell you the truth. So it's really actually really like, hey, you seem really down. Have you had thoughts of harm? Are you okay? Do you want to go for a walk?
Did all of you hide how you were feeling?
I absolutely did a fantastic job of always being on point.
Yeah.
I was the OCD mom, the OCD COO.
But see, this is what scares me, Lisa. If we don't know you're in trouble, how are your friends and your family supposed to help you if you all hide all of this from us?
Because we need to know that it's safe to tell you.
Yeah.
If it's not safe to tell you, we're going to hide it. And I don't want to say we have to hide.
But you do
I'm making a
hide.
choice to now step out, even though I've lost my job for disclosing that I had a mental health issue.
What happened?
I took on a job at a pediatric office, and I was just doing some like clerk work, and the person who attacked me reached out to me, and that triggered me. I started having thoughts of suicide, and I told my boss, I said, hey, I'm having thoughts of suicide. And she says, oh my God, Kelechi, why don't you go home? Why don't you take care of yourself? Do you know that I went to work the next day and I heard her telling the doctor, we have to fire Kelechi, she's crazy.
You heard her say that?
I heard her say that. I had openly shared that, and then I lost my job. So there is a real risk to sharing.
Everybody, or many people, have a safe plan.
My resources taught me was to have like a core group of 6 people, and they received a safety plan. If I'm not leaving my house, if I'm not returning your phone calls, if your texts go unanswered for days at a time, if you see me overly happy or appearing to be overly happy, those are symptoms that you need to reach out and ask me how I am.
Greg, do you have a safe plan?
The only plan I have is when I wake up every morning, I find a reason to live that day.
What was your reason today to live?
To do this. Somebody will see this, and they'll say, if he can do it, I can do it, and they'll go get help.
And you are not alone. Call the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline and follow their guidance. That number is 1-800-273-TALK. You can also visit our Time to Talk page, which has resources for kids and adults. Just go to our website, channel3000.com. 6:55 this morning. Still ahead on News 3 This Morning Sunday, a check of today's top stories, including a look at some of the damage caused by strong storms overnight. But first, here's a preview of what's to come on an all-new For the Record.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Neil Heinen. Today on For the Record, we'll take a look behind the curtain at the state of the broadcast industry today and the issues broadcasters are facing in a time of widespread distrust in our civic institutions. National Association of Broadcasters President CEO Gordon Smith is in Milwaukee for the summer conference of the Wisconsin Broadcast Association, and he'll join me from there to talk about the state of broadcasting. That's coming up this morning at 10:30 on WISC-TV. The big
Going out with a bang, but not a trip to the hospital. The state's fireworks laws, which officers say are there to keep you safe during the 4th of July festivities.
This is News 3 This Morning Sunday.
Good morning and welcome to News 3 This Morning Sunday. It is July 1st, coming up on 7 o'clock right now. I'm Josh Breiter. Chris is tracking your forecast in just a moment, but first, people across southern Wisconsin are waking up to widespread damage this morning after a strong line of showers and thunderstorms overnight. These pictures were sent to us from News 3 viewers. You can see the damage caused by 60-mile-an-hour wind gusts, small hail, heavy rain, and lightning. We've received numerous reports of downed trees and power lines in Vernon, Juneau, Richland, Sauk, Columbia, Green, Lake, and Dane counties this morning. The excessive heat and humidity provided plenty of fuel for the storms to fire up. Heat indices were as high as 118 degrees across parts of southern Wisconsin Saturday. Right now, some good news for drivers planning a 4th of July road trip this week. The DOT is putting the Verona Road construction on hold to help ease that holiday congestion. Crews will stop working by noon this Tuesday, then start up again by 6 Thursday morning. The DOT says there are more construction projects across the state also taking a break to make sure people can get to their holiday destination safely. Happening now, there's another way for families to access free meals this summer through the Dane County YMCA. Starting this Tuesday, anyone can stop by Lucier Family East YMCA on Cottage Grove Road to pick up brown bag meals. Those usually have a sandwich, fruit, vegetable, and milk. They'll be handed out from 5 to 7 every Tuesday and Thursday throughout the summer. There are no requirements or qualifications for the free meals, so everyone is welcome. The Milwaukee Brewers are honoring veterans this Independence Day, not with fireworks, but with free tickets. They're donating 3,000 tickets to USO Wisconsin so vets and their families can watch the Brew Crew take on the Cardinals. That game is at 3:10 at Miller Park on Wednesday. Tomorrow is the last day to go online and reserve those tickets at the website on your screen. Veterans can pick up those tickets between 1 and 3 p.m. on game day. And now here's Chris tracking more heat in that forecast. Chris, good morning.
Good morning, Josh. That's right. More heat is in the forecast, although today a lot cooler than we've seen in several days. Here's a live look courtesy of the WISC-TV camera right now, showing you some lingering cloud cover off in the distance after the showers and thunderstorms that came through overnight. Here is how that looked on radar. You see they really just zipped through over the past 3 hours. This storm moved just to the south and east of Madison, and now it's falling apart just to the north of Watertown right now. The main region of low pressure still centered over southern Minnesota this morning, and that still has a cold front that is going to work across southern Wisconsin this morning. We've got sunshine adding to the fuel to develop some more thunderstorms later on in the day, but it is a lot cooler, 10 degrees cooler rather than 24 hours ago at 70 degrees here in Madison. Those heat indices are going to feel 10 to 20 degrees cooler by the time we get you into the afternoon, likely feeling like 92 during the worst heat of the day. But then there's a slight risk of showers and thunderstorms, especially east of Madison today. A marginal risk back to the west as that cold front does get through. It'll fire off some more showers and thunderstorms into the afternoon and evening. So make sure that you are on the lookout for that one. Traffic-wise this morning, things do continue to look good. I've heard of no major issues showing up on the belt lines today. Once again, traffic not necessarily wanting to show up there, but I'll get you all the first alert traffic as soon as it comes on up. Josh?
All right, Chris, thank you.
My pleasure.
While Wisconsin had some strong storms overnight, things were even worse to our west. A man in Des Moines was swept away as heavy thunderstorms rocked central Iowa. Investigators later found his body. Officials are encouraging people who live in that area to remember the mantra, turn around, don't drown. It just takes a few inches of water to sweep your car off the road during a storm. 7:03 right now. FEMA's housing program for recent hurricane survivors ends this weekend, leaving many people with no place to go. The program helps victims of Hurricane Harvey, Irma, and Maria find permanent places to live. While FEMA says nearly everyone who had used the program has found permanent housing, the number of people in Puerto Rico under the program is still significant, nearly 1,800 people. One evacuee even says she doesn't believe the program is safe.
It's not a plan that I would like. It's not safe either for me or for my children. Like me, there's many families that doesn't have any plan. We're just waiting for people to help us.
FEMA says the program was designed to be used for about 2 weeks, but has been extended several times. Officials estimate hundreds of Puerto Ricans who fled the island will end up in the city shelters for homeless families in the coming days.
Have nowhere to go. The apartment rentals want a security deposit that is 3 or 4 times the monthly rent. And so many of these families do not have that much money saved.
The agency has spent more than $430 million on housing for tens of thousands of hurricane survivors since September. Next year, Americans will be able to file their individual tax returns on what the government is calling a postcard-sized form. Instead of filling 2 pages, the page is cut in half, double-sided, and has 23 lines. That's down from 79. The Treasury Secretary says the new look delivers on the promise to simplify the tax filing process. It will replace the old 1040 as well as the 1040A and 1040EZ. The IRS says it will ask for feedback and then finalize the new version over the summer. The holiday weekend means more boats on the water in and around Madison, and that also includes law enforcement boats. The nationwide campaign, Operation Dry Water, is now in effect to combat drinking and boating. Officials say alcohol is a main factor when it comes to accidents on the water. The Dane County Sheriff's Office is working with the Department of Natural Resources to increase enforcement and awareness about the danger that comes with drinking while operating a boat.
I think it's overlooked. I think people expect to be drinking when they're boating, and I don't think that they realize that it is such a hazard on the water when they are drinking. It sneaks up on you quick. You don't realize how much you've had.
Boating under the influence has the same blood alcohol cutoff as driving at 0.08. Janesville police say they've successfully rescued someone from the water. It happened just before 3 o'clock Saturday afternoon. Police were called to the Monterey Dam for a report of a man stranded in the water. 2 officers used a tow line to get to the man, but were not successful. The Janesville Fire Department had to take a boat to get him. The 27-year-old was kayaking in the Rock River when his kayak tipped over. Just about 7:07 right now, Wisconsin's top law enforcement officers reminding everyone of what kinds of fireworks are allowed and illegal here in the state. Things like sparklers, smoke bombs, noisemakers, and small confetti poppers are perfectly fine and don't have an age restriction. But if you're caught with fireworks, Roman candles, bottle rockets, or any other fireworks, you could be fined up to $1,000 for each explosive. Basically, anything that leaves the ground requires a permit. An adult that allows kids to have those fireworks under their supervision can also be cited. Even if your celebrations are legal, Ready Wisconsin says we all need to do it safely. Always have water nearby, light fireworks on a smooth, flat surface away from any building, dry leaves, and flammable materials. And also keep your pets inside to keep them safe. According to the state's emergency management department, 15 people were hospitalized with firework-related injuries last year. More than 100 Wisconsinites had to go to the emergency room. Coming up on 7:08 right now, still to come this morning, we've already had heat indices into the triple digits this weekend. Chris will have his updated forecast heading into the holiday week coming up. But first, a local woman doing something good to help those most vulnerable in Dane County. Her story next on News 3 This Morning, Sunday.
The biggest
Good Sunday morning to all of you. The sun now starting to come back out after the rounds of the showers and the thunderstorms that we did receive overnight and early this morning. It was quite a light show if you were out and ready to see that. Here's Doppler track now. You see how the showers really began to fall apart. We have one shower still kind of left to the north of Watertown, and that'll be it for this morning round. And it'll be until the afternoon before we get another round of some showers and thunderstorms that moves on through here. You see where the heaviest of the rain came from, out of northwestern Illinois and through southern Wisconsin, mainly to the south and west of Madison. Those were the showers that put down the most water over the past 24 hours, but still everyone getting in on a little bit of rainfall out there. We'll see how much rain the storms this afternoon can put down as well. Temperature-wise, we're cooler than we were 24 hours ago with temperatures only in the 70s, but it will feel substantially cooler today as opposed to yesterday. Those heat indices will only make it into the low 90s this time, whereas yesterday they made it all the way up to 118 in places. Drastically cooler weather in play today. In fact, those excessive heat warnings are long gone for us here in Madison. Across the Milwaukee metro area, you still have some excessive heat warnings. Those will end as we go through today as well. The main cold front has actually yet to come on through here, and it'll allow temperatures to warm up a little bit faster to our east before they get cooled down by that cold front. The regional low pressure that'll be bringing that cold front on through here is still over southern Minnesota at this hour. As it inches closer, we'll watch more scattered showers and thunderstorms begin to develop. And as that happens, there is a slight risk that some of those could be strong to severe, just like last night, mainly east of Madison this time and closer towards that lake shore. So keep that in mind as we anticipate some additional showers and thunderstorms later on. The best timing for those looks to be between 2 and 6 o'clock. Here's future track showing some showers and thunderstorms moving through around 4. Watch what happens. 86 degrees for the highs this afternoon. Temperatures will drop as that cold front moves on through here, potentially into the upper 50s tonight. It all depends on how fast we clear out and if those winds coming back behind that front have any opportunity to relax at all. But enjoy that cooler weather we have out there today and a little bit cooler for your Monday. We'll watch more showers and thunderstorms, or more heat rather, with the chances for some showers and thunderstorms beginning to develop as we go towards the 4th of July week. This afternoon, 84 degrees, partly sunny with a few showers and thunderstorms possible. We're going to turn up the heat, like I said, going back towards the 4th of July, likely seeing 90 degrees for the holiday, Josh.
You know, I could take a low in the upper 50s.
I could too. It's going to feel so good. I'm kind of aiming for that upper 50s low.
All right, Chris, thank you.
My pleasure.
We've been asking you to share your morning with us. Check out this photo. Fowler emailed this picture of us. That's Monona Bay. Check out that sunrise right there. Very beautiful. Thanks for sharing, Fowler. What does your morning look like? Be sure to take a picture and post it right to the Channel 3000 Facebook page or on Twitter using the hashtag MyNews3Morning. We'll share our favorites right here on News 3 This Morning.
For me, this is not a job. It's a I'm on a path in life, and I feel blessed.
It's not a job just anyone can do. In recent years, Karen Andro has become the go-to person in terms of downtown services for the homeless community. As Charlotte DeLeste tells us, she's a helper, a guide, a guardian, doing something good for those who need it most.
There's something to be said about that first meal of the day.
And we're extending our table.
And feeding your soul.
We're providing that nutritious meal not only of a person's body, but of their spirit.
Karen Andro is a caretaker of sorts to hundreds, if not thousands of people she doesn't know.
Her heart's open to anybody that needs help.
Karen does homeless outreach as part of First United Methodist Church in downtown Madison.
A person loses all hope. Nothing else matters, food or shelter.
For Karen, it's not a job, it's a calling. And that calling leads her to places where those who are homeless and experiencing some type of trauma live, no matter the weather or time of day.
For me, my heart sees, hears, feels, and responds to suffering because I don't have a lot of patience for unmet needs.
But on Wednesdays, Karen, members of the church, and volunteers do what they can to fill those unmet needs by building a bridge of hope and help. They offer what they call a community breakfast, followed by the Come As You Are worship and support gathering.
You could see shoulders more relaxed, people coming in with bags and trash bags of belongings, and feeling like they're okay. What we really want is for folks to feel that they're at home.
And eventually have a place to call home. During all this, representatives from a dozen agencies and organizations are there, ready and waiting to help those who want it.
We was right days from committing suicide, and we came here for help.
Ron was homeless.
We was going to do it together. Yeah, and we overcome that. Thanks to Karen and Andrew.
He now volunteers here. Same goes for John Haynes.
This church, like my family now. And I'd do anything for Karen, do anything for this church.
There is something to be said about that first meal of the day and the love and hope it provides for the body, mind, and soul.
A life can be transformed and transcended from hopelessness to hope.
If you know of a business or a person or organization doing something good, please let Charlotte know. You can send her the information at channel3000.com/do-something-good. Well, 7:17 is your time. School may be out for the summer for students across the country, but perched high in the treetops of Pennsylvania, the learning never stops. Coming up, we'll take you to the classroom in an unsuspected place right in the treetops. The life lessons students there are learning just ahead on News 3 This Morning, Sunday.
The excessive heat warnings have been allowed to expire for us here in Madison today. Some of those do linger near the greater Milwaukee area, but that's because a cold front's going to come through. It hasn't reached them yet, but it will be reaching them into the afternoon and evening. Get this, folks. It is not going to feel like 110 or 118 degrees today. More like 92 once we get you into the peak heating of the afternoon. A much better feel for this time of the year. This morning we'll watch temperatures rise through the 70s to about 80 rather, and then we'll see 84 for your high this afternoon. That's when the scattered showers and thunderstorms will return to the picture. Some of those do have the chance to be severe, but enjoy that cool down. We toast right back on up as we go through the next 10 days. Josh.
All right, Chris, thank you. 7:22 is your time. High in the treetops of Pennsylvania sits a school. And unless you look up, you'd never even see it. It's a place where the learning never stops and the lessons taught are more about life than anything else. Christine Sorensen takes us there.
Perched high among the treetops, a classroom in an unsuspecting place. The tree trunks become support beams, bark becomes wallpaper, and the breeze is nature's air conditioning.
Okay, fifth grade. We are going to be going outside to work on our nature poems today.
The fifth graders say it's easy to find inspiration up here in this treehouse classroom at the Country Day School campus of Shadyside Academy in Fox Chapel.
Look out at the trees and you can see the green leaves and leaves quietly falling to the ground, and you could hear the rustling of the leaves. I was just sitting here and I felt a gust of wind in my pigtails, well, like buns.
So Ella Hubbard wrote about the wind. Her friend Sophia Gambos wrote about the trees.
The vibrant colors of the petals glistening in the sun, vines growing up the trees like a scarf circling around your neck.
From quiet contemplation to bouncing laughter. The kids love the new treehouse, suspension bridge, and outlook.
I was really excited, and then now we're on the treehouse. Yay.
I bet if you asked for some ideas, you'd have some.
This is a dream come true for head of school Sharon Smith, after whom Mrs. Smith's Lookout was named. It took 2 years for fundraising, architectural plans, and construction.
It really does open up their ability to think and share ideas and feel freer with those ideas. When you put children inside a classroom with 4 walls and a ceiling and a floor, you're going to box in their thinking, box in the teacher's creativity, and sharing ideas with them as well.
The teachers here, from pre-K through 5th grade, have always used their 30 acres of forest for learning, but this offers a new perspective.
A magical, different world up in the trees, and you can see the canopy and get all different fresh eyes on nature.
In addition to obvious connections in subjects like science and writing, the school also plans to have art and music, even math and history in the treehouse.
There's a lot of studies that show what the fresh air and what nature can do. It rejuvenates the brain faster. It gives more energy.
Part of what the kids will learn is living with the elements. This room is not climate controlled, so in the wintertime, they'll put on their coats and come out to learn, sun, rain, or snow.
That we can be outdoors when it's moist, that we don't melt, that this is all part of the experience and can be enjoyable.
Wind is the music of the trees. It is everywhere.
From the wind blowing through pigtails to ants crawling up trees, nature is an open textbook ready to teach kids who want to learn.
The idea for a treehouse classroom came after educators saw how students' brains worked better after playing outside. They thought educating outside would create a similar effect. 7:25 right now. There's more ahead here on News 3 This Morning Sunday. Next, we're running through the day's top stories, including what kinds of fireworks are and aren't legal in the state of Wisconsin. And imagine a town where dancing and rock music are illegal. Sound familiar? That's the premise for the show Footloose, and we're headed backstage at a local production of it when News 3 This Morning Sunday continues. Right now, the ultimate Lego fan experience for a reason. Brick Universe is back in town for another day. What you can expect if you're headed downtown to the Monona Terrace this afternoon.
This is News 3 This Morning Sunday.
Good morning and welcome to News 3 This Morning Sunday. It is July 1st, coming up on 7:30 right now. I'm Josh Breiter. Chris is tracking your hot and humid forecast in a moment, but first, people across southern Wisconsin are waking up this morning to widespread damage after a strong line of storms. News 3 viewers sent in images of the damage caused by 60-mile-an-hour wind gusts, small hail, heavy rain, and lightning. The gusty winds led to numerous reports of downed trees and power lines in Vernon, Juneau, Richland, Sauk, Columbia, Green, Lake, and Dane counties. The excessive heat and humidity provided plenty of fuel for the storms to fire up. Heat indices were as high as 118 degrees across parts of southern Wisconsin yesterday. Right now, Wisconsin's top law enforcement officers reminding everyone of what kinds of fireworks are allowed and illegal here in the state. Things like sparklers, smoke bombs, noisemakers, and small confetti poppers are perfectly fine and don't have an age restriction. But if you're caught with fireworks, Roman candles, bottle rockets, or any other fireworks, you can be fined up to $1,000 for each explosive. Basically, anything that leaves the ground requires a permit. An adult that allows kids to have those fireworks under their supervision can also be cited. The Monona Terrace is closing down this week for some building maintenance, but you'll still be able to catch your favorite views of the lake. The building will be closed starting tomorrow through the 5th, but weather permitting, the rooftop will still be open every day, and the concerts on the rooftop on July 5th will still be held. Monona Terrace reopens with regular hours this Friday, July 6th. And now we're going to join Chris with your first alert forecast. Still hot out there, Chris.
Good morning, Josh. It's still very warm outside, but oddly enough, a whole lot cooler than we were just 24 hours ago. We're 9 degrees cooler here in Madison, 10 and 11 degrees cooler as you get up towards the Dells and Black River Falls. We did have some showers and thunderstorms work their way through here overnight. Those have since fallen apart, working their way to the north and east. It's showers that are well off to our north and west right now, centered around this region of low pressure that will eventually make their way into southern Wisconsin with a cold front that comes on through. So as we get you into the afternoon, don't be surprised if you see some more showers and thunderstorms popping up on the radar there. 70 degrees right now here in town. All of us are in the 60s and 70s. It will not feel anywhere as warm as it has felt lately. Our peak heat indices should be right around 92 degrees as we get you into the afternoon and evening. So that is good news. But when that cold front comes through, do not be surprised if some of those look like they did yesterday in terms of being strong or severe. The Storm Prediction Center does have that slight risk for severe thunderstorms, mainly to the east of Madison as you work your way over towards the lake shore. Now here is that traffic animation, and it worked this time. So far traffic is smooth across the Beltline this morning. Some of the traffic delays are showing up on US 12 between Prairie-du-Sac and Middleton this morning. Otherwise across Dane County, all is well. So that is certainly some good news. Coming in from just about any town, it'll take you about your normal time other than Sauk City to Middleton. It is a little bit slower coming in on that route. Josh.
Great traffic report there, Chris.
My pleasure.
Thanks so much. New this morning, a 33-year-old father is in the Rock County Jail. James Groner was pulled over for speeding down East Highway 1114 by Henke Road Saturday. He told authorities he was on his way back from the Dells. Deputies say his car reeked of burning marijuana, and Groner admitted he had been smoking on his drive home. He had 2 kids under the age of 16 in the car with him, making the offense a felony in Wisconsin. This is the 4th time Groner has been pulled over for an OWI. He'll stay in jail until his initial court appearance. Also new this morning, Madison police are looking for a man wanted for robbing the Capitol Petro Mart. This happened shortly after 1 o'clock this morning. Police say a heavyset black man around 6 feet tall walked into the mart with a silver handgun and demanded cash. He was given an undisclosed amount of money and ran away. Anyone with information is asked to call the Madison Area Crime Stoppers or Madison Police. Right now, kids and adults still have a chance to meet real Lego artists in Madison this weekend. Legos of all shapes and sizes are currently on display at the Monona Terrace Convention Center. Lego artists Rocco Butlier and Paul Hetherington were there too to talk about their designs and answer questions from Lego fans. The artists say it's fun to see young kids get excited about using Legos and their imaginations.
You know, I'd rather have this all packed up in the boxes on its way to the next show rather than on display at my house, like on a shelf where no one can see it.
You can still see the Legos for yourself. The convention continues today from 10 to 1 and again from 2 to 5. 7:34 right now. A stage adaptation of a class 1980s movie is on stage at the Beaver Dam Area Community Theater this weekend. Footloose is a musical based on the beloved film about a big city kid who moves to a small town where dancing is banned. Michael Bruno takes us backstage.
I'm punching that same card. 8 hours busting my butt. Oh, tell me what I got. I got this feeling that time is holding me down.
Most, if not all, the music from the movie that just, blew up. The title track, Footloose is in there. We've got Let's Hear It for the Boys in there. Holding Out for a Hero. They're all in there, but they're woven into the story so that the characters are singing it.
Tonight I gotta cut loose, foot loose, kick off your Sunday shoes.
I am the new kid in a small town. I moved from Chicago, and I'm just thrown into this town, which I have no idea what the rules are or the people or what I'm supposed to do. All I'm trying to do is fit in.
You can find it on any map.
What's the name of it?
Folks are flocking from all over.
What's the name of it?
Beaumont.
Beaumont? Where the hell is Beaumont?
Learning all the choreography for that, was it difficult?
Yes, I remember my first rehearsal. It was 6 hours long, and the first 2 to 3 hours of it, it was just me and the choreographer just going at it straight in for one of my solo pieces. And I thought it was a little overwhelming at first, but once I had a couple run-throughs and a couple more rehearsals, it just came nice, and it just flowed nicely, and it's a lot of fun to do.
So what's it like portraying a kid in the 80s? What are you learning about that era?
I'm learning a lot about the hair. So I'm Rusty. She was originally in the movie. She was Sarah Jessica Parker, so big shoes to fill. I like to call Rusty, she's sort of the hopeless romantic of the show. She's had this big crush for a long time, and it never really goes anywhere until, the show starts. I'm super pumped. I get to sing Let's Hear It for the Boy, which is my mom's all-time sort of favorite college song, so.
Lord, I pray, tell me exactly the words to say.
And how fun is it for kids to actually play high school kids for a change?
That was one of the things that I was really drawn to about picking this show was they get to play high schoolers. The main characters are in high school going through the same things they're going through.
We've only been here 2 days and already Chicago seems a million miles away. But we were barely hanging on there, especially with my father gone. There's not too many places we could stay. And maybe Mom could find a job that's steady. And maybe I could stand it for a year. And maybe things won't be so bad. And maybe I won't miss my dad. And maybe we could start a new life here. But if Walt Whitman...
You still have one more chance to grab your dancing shoes and see Footloose for yourself. It's showing this afternoon at the Beaver Dam Community Theater at 2 o'clock. Tickets cost between $10 and $14. Coming up on 7:38 this Sunday morning, the temperatures aren't the only thing heating up as we head into the holiday week. The 4th of July is one of the most popular times of the year to grill, and we have a grill master in studio this morning with the do's and don'ts of grilling steak. I wish this was a smell-o-vision. It's cruel. That's just ahead on News 3 This Morning, Sunday.
That is certainly good news here in the picture. We're going to continue to watch temperatures take off once again, this time not into the 90s, but the 80s. So overall today will certainly be a cooler day. That has meant that the excessive heat warnings have been allowed to expire for us here in Madison. They do still linger over towards Milwaukee. Those will get canceled as we go further into the afternoon. This morning, expect temperatures to rise to about 80 degrees by lunchtime. Then some scattered storms do come back into the picture. Those do have the risk to be severe. Here in a few minutes, I'll be breaking down the full-on forecast about what you can expect today and through the next 10 days. Josh.
All right, Chris, thank you. 7:42 right now. The 4th of July is not only one of the busiest travel days of the year, but one of the biggest grilling times too. And not all of us are grill masters. Luckily, we've got Chris Gernon here to talk more about the do's and don'ts of grilling. We've been hearing the sizzling of the steak for the last, half hour? It's been...
Yeah, getting them warmed up for you, getting them ready to go.
Yep. So tell us a little bit, obviously, this is a big week. A lot of people have time off. They're, trying to grill up for the family. What are some of the do's and don'ts?
So we understand there's a lot of grilling enthusiasts out there, but grilling can be intimidating. So that's why we're going to have our grill hotline available for you. It's going to go from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. Central on the 4th of July. And it's just going to be able to call our grill masters and ask them any questions. If it's about the temperature, it's about the seasoning, the steak, the cut, anything you have, we're going to be there to help you. All right? So today I wanted to get into a few steaks and really talk about the grilling and give you a few tips. I brought a few steaks here today with us. We have the porterhouse steak here. That's a 22-ounce bone-in steak with a combination of a New York strip and a filet. Best of both worlds. I also brought the filet. That's the most tender steak you're going to get, really smooth cut. But we also brought my favorite, the 18-ounce bone-in ribeye. This one is my favorite steak because of the marbling on it. It really gives it a lot of flavor. So that's the #1 thing you want to want. Never compromise your steak. Always fresh, never frozen. Because if it's frozen, it's going to take away the flavor. It's going to take away the tenderness of the steak. But I think the most important part is seasoning. So you want to go ahead and season the steak with me?
I bet.
Awesome.
I guess we can. Pressure's on
why
here,
not?
right?
Here. So I'm going to have you work on this one.
Okay.
The #1 thing you want to do is don't be bashful with the seasoning.
Okay.
So we're going to start on one way, so you can go, and you're going to go that way, and then we're going to come all the way back with it. It looks like a lot, but when you flip it over or you cook it over the open flame, it's going to fall through the grates. So I'll flip it over again, and we'll do that again. And there it is. Now, if you want to make your own signature flavor, you can use salt and pepper, granulated garlic, and granulated onion powder. Mix all that together, and then use it all over the steak. 2 passes, 1 and back. Flip over, do it again.
I know that's always the concern. I always feel like I'm going to put too much on, and then it's going to ruin it, but...
I don't think so. I think that's where the real flavor is. Secondly, we're going to oil the grill. Now, if you can, cook this steak on the open flame outside in the backyard. If you got to use it in the kitchen, then make sure you turn the pan to medium hot or all the way hot. So #1 part we do, we're going to oil our grill with a little bit of oil. This is going to allow the steak not to stick. All right, we'll take this and set it right in the center of this grill. You can hear the sizzle start it. What you're going to do next is you're going to cook the steak for about, you're going to cook the steak, depending on how long you want it, but we're going to flip it every 3 to 4 minutes.
Okay.
Every 3 to 4 minutes until you think it's about done. If you want a well-done steak, you're going to go for about 12 minutes. If you want a medium rare, probably more like 8 minutes. All right? So we're going to flip the steak every 3 to 4 minutes. The #1 thing is the tools that you use. You don't want to use a fork and flip a steak like this, because what's going to happen? The steak's going to end up putting holes in it, and all the juices are going to flow out. It's going to dry out. You really want to use tongs, and when you have a bone, you grab it by the bone gently, and that way you don't rip the seasoning off of the steak. That's my #1 tool there with the tools.
So we're just about out of time. Any other final tips here as far as just kind of looking at that time and kind of making it to your taste, right?
Well, lastly, I say take the steak off the grill, set it down, and let the steak rest for a minute. You're going to let all the juices flow back into the steak, and just let it sit for about a minute or 2, and it'll be the most flavorful steak you have.
Very good. All right. Well, if you have any other grilling questions over the 4th of July holiday, Longhorn Steakhouse offers a Grill Us hotline. The restaurant certified grill masters like Chris will be available on the phone on the 4th from 9 until 3. You can also call them at the number on your screen or tweet them using the hashtag LHGrillmaster. Always some good tips, and it's one of those things, obviously, when it comes to the steak, you don't want to screw that up, right?
Yeah, no. We know how expensive a steak is, so we want to get it right. If you want us to do it for you, we'd be glad to. We got the professionals in the back, but if not, we have those tips for you. Feel free. Call the hotline. Ask them anything you want. We're there for you.
All right. Looks and smells delicious, Chris. Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
Well, it has been a steamy weekend, but are we going to see any relief as we get closer to the 4th? Chris is tracking those temperatures and the possibility for some more summer storms in your full First Alert forecast coming up on News 3 This Morning Sunday. But first, let's look at who's 3 today.
You know, yesterday at this time, the temperature was 81 degrees. Now 70 degrees, so a whole lot cooler this morning as opposed to yesterday morning. It'll also feel nowhere near as hot as it's felt over the past couple of days. By the time we get you into the peak heating of the afternoon, feeling like 92, not 102, not 118, like some people saw yesterday. With that being said, the heat warnings have been allowed to expire for us here in Madison. You've got a few of those lingering over towards Milwaukee, but those will come to an end as we get you through the rest of this afternoon as well. The showers and thunderstorms over us have come to an end, but the main region of low pressure is still spinning over southwestern Minnesota right now. The cold front will trail to the south from that and eventually work our way this afternoon. That's when we'll get the next chance for some showers and thunderstorms, and that does mean that some of these do have the potential once again to be strong and severe. That's going to be mainly on the eastern half of Dane County and over toward the lake shore. But nonetheless, if you are to the west of that, you could still see a strong shower or thunderstorm. So keep that in mind. Here's the cold front. It'll race on through here, bringing those showers and thunderstorms by the time we get you into the early afternoon and evening. Check out what happens to temperatures. 84 initially, but they'll drop. In fact, we could see upper 50s by the time we get you into Monday morning. So how about that? That's certainly some good news. It'll likely be feeling a lot better by then. The thing is, as we go through the next 10 days, we'll continue to see these temperatures rise right back up into the lower 90s. So that steam, my friends, is certainly going to be around 76 to 80 degrees. The temperature this morning, a lot of cloud cover around. By the time we get you into the afternoon, expect those temperatures to top out right around 84 degrees. That's when we'll have a few scattered showers and thunderstorms lingering into the picture there. 89 by Tuesday. It'll be humid too. We'll reach 90 by Wednesday with a slight chance of showers and thunderstorms. And I hate to be this bear, but that chance is on the rise as of now. So we'll keep a close eye on that one. But we're going to keep that steam around through the next 10 days as well. Upper 80s, low 90s is generally the theme there.
Aww.
Check out to Corey and Fort Atkinson on your pet walk forecast. Temperatures around 3 o'clock will be in the low 80s. Some scattered storms can't be ruled out, Josh.
Well, hey, it looks like today will be a little bit better of a day to grill if you want to.
Oh, yes. You know what? I wish I had a grill because, trust me, I'd be there.
I think you got to get one. I got to get one, too. All right, thanks, Chris. 7:52 right now. Stay with News 3 today, tonight at 5:30 and 10. Celebrating safely. Easy ways to make sure your kids stay safe this 4th of July. But first, a surprise fit for a superhero. Beat the 14-year-old whose wish came true this week after he got something every comic book loving kid dreams of, his own Bat Cave. Stay with us. This is News 3 This Morning, Sunday. And welcome back at 7:55. It's a surprise fit for a superhero, and a 14-year-old Tyler certainly is one.
That's right. The teen is battling a rare neurological condition, but as Yana Gavino explains, his dreams are coming true.
Here in the Newlands backyard, a surprise has been under wraps for weeks. Brian Grossman led the team that built Tyler's wish from the ground up.
It's the greatest thing in the world, and I just can't wait to see the look on his face. We're all so excited.
Seeing the Batcave warmed Eric and Teresa's hearts. Their son, Tyler, loves Batman. Just like his hero, Tyler is a fighter. The 14-year-old is battling a neurological disorder.
This is what you wanted? Yeah.
Waiting in the shadows was Tyler's hero.
I just love that people have been so nice to him.
The Batcave has all the tools to fight crime and the Texas heat. There's air conditioning, Nerf guns, a TV, and a bat signal. The cave comes with keys. It was custom built for Tyler and his needs. There's a ramp for his wheelchair, lights Tyler can reach, and a table that raises up and down. A surprise worth waiting for.
They had the tarp up for the last 3 weeks since they started. We told Tyler that they were building a storage shed for the lawn equipment and that the tarp was up to keep everything from the construction site out of the pool.
But Dad wants the shed.
Dad's shed will have to wait.
We're just overwhelmed by the generosity of the community.
Thank you, all of you. And thank you, Batman.
Thank you, buddy. You're true inspiration.
I feel like a bat cave would be a good way to get out of that heat.
That's right. And already today is a little bit cooler, but it is still going to be toasty. We're 7 degrees cooler than 24 hours ago here in Madison. Those excessive heat warnings have come to an end, so that is good news for us. They're still lingering over towards Milwaukee. 76 to 80 degrees this morning, 84 for your highs this afternoon. I can't rule out the chance of some strong storms coming in during that time. In fact, the Storm Prediction Center does have us under a slight risk, especially to the east, for some strong to severe thunderstorms.
All right, Chris, thank you, and thanks so much for joining us. As we leave you, there's Barrett the polar bear. Have a wonderful day.
Making plans that are weather dependent? Get an accurate 12-hour, even a 10-day forecast. Download the Channel 3000 First Alert Weather app and start planning.